Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to DaveyJay today. I'm your host, DaveyJay, and today we are going to discuss episodes 4 and 5 of The Last of Us. Davey, 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 Davey. Well, if you've been following the channel lately, you probably realize that I haven't been posting very much, and that's simply because I have been sick. Not with the vid or anything like that. What I told my friends is I hardly ever get sick, so once I do finally catch something, my immune system likes to make me pay. So yes, I paid for a little over a week, but now I'm starting to feel 100% again. So I thought I'd combine episodes 4 and 5 together just because I feel like when you take these episodes and combine them, it's basically like one nice long episode. I affectionately refer to these episodes as the Sam and Henry episodes. So it starts off with Ellie and Joel. They got all their supplies. Joel has his delicious old coffee.
It smells like burnt shit.
And Ellie has her joke book that I just absolutely love.
No pun intended. Volume 2 by Will Livingston. Volume 2. Look, you get it? 2? Like T-O-O?
You get a perfect mix of Joel trying to be the Mr. Serious guy, even though he knows that Ellie's joke book is absolutely hilarious.
What did the mermaid wear to her math class? An algebra. Like, algebra.
He's trying not to be all immature and childlike when he knows that Ellie brings out that sense of childlike curiosity and wonder. And it's just awesome to see Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey and their chemistry on screen. So it's been fun watching them grow together from that "who are you? I don't want to be traveling with you, but I guess we're stuck together" to a couple episodes in now, and they're finally starting to get along, and they genuinely are starting to care for each other, and that's really cool to see. And I think showrunner Craig Mazin does a great job at pulling that out of the video game and putting that on screen so the viewers and players of the video game alike can look at that and be like, okay, I totally get that. I'm vibing from the video game, and the TV show makes it look like it goes well together. So it's been fun watching that play out on screen. From there we go into our B story, and it's not as cut dry as in the video game. What happens is they drive through Pittsburgh, and it's just this really quick kind of video game style stop where they run into these really bad people.
Easy.
Please!
Holy shit.
Help!
Are we gonna help him?
Put your seatbelt on, Ellie.
Well, what about the guy?
He ain't even hurt.
But in the TV show, it can't be that black and white. So what we have here is a leader in Melanie Lynskey, and say what you want about her. I loved her in Castle Rock. And to me, Melanie Lynskey reminds me of that older sister that you're like, oh, guess what? My older sister's going to get us a bottle of vodka or whatever. Oh, could you get your sister to get us some beer after school? Blah, blah, blah. You know, and I feel like Melanie Lynskey is like that cool older sister, but I don't take her as a post-apocalyptic leader of some violent raiders. Just my take.
You think I won't do it?
I like her as an actress, and especially in Castle Rock, she was terrific in that. But it's just kind of off-putting to see her in this role as this leader that obviously has command over these extremely well-organized, violent people that threw over this fascist dictatorship that is Fedra in this Last of Us world. So, say what you want to say about Melanie Lynskey. She tries, right? Not my first choice at all, but obviously somebody did a favor for someone and they're like, oh, we'll get Melanie to play this role. Anywho, we see right away that their group has overthrown Fedra, and now they're trying to stick it to some of the remaining Fedra people who were obviously really bad to them. So now they're kind of trying to flip it on its head. They're looking for what they call collaborators, which are Sam and Henry, we find out later. And so Joel and Ellie kind of drive right into this thing, and then before Joel and Ellie make their way into Kansas City, they have that famous section where they're driving, and Ellie's like, oh, so I got this magazine. It's a little light on the reading,
But it has some interesting pictures.
Oh, no. Put that back. That's not for kids.
How do
Ellie,
you even walk around with that thing?
please get rid of it.
Hold your horses. I want to see what all the fuss is about. Why are all these pages stuck together?
and Joel's like, Ellie, I don't know where you got that. He's feeling all awkward and stuff. And she's like, how do you walk around with that thing? She's like looking at it sideways or whatever. And then she's like, bye-bye, dude, or whatever, throws it out the window. And she pulls out this Hank Williams cassette, and she's like,
Here, this make you all nostalgic?
This is actually before my time.
but this is a winner, though. And he plugs the Hank Williams cassette into the deck, and they listen to the same song from the video game. Please hold my hand. And they make their way into KC, and of course, somebody pretends to be all hurt. Ellie's like, are we going to stop and help him? And Joel's like, no. And then goes full speed, and then they crash, and there's a scene where they're basically pinned by gunfire, and Joel's like,
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're not hurt, nothing.
I don't think so.
he's like, Ellie, listen to exactly what I say. Can you fit into the wall over there? Okay, go, hide. And Joel basically disarms this, who we see, this young kid who starts shooting at him, and Ellie comes out and has to save Joel basically, and shoots the guy. And he's like, oh, please don't hurt me again, you know, I have family, I'll tell him that you're okay, here's my knife.
Wait. You can have it. It's a good knife.
And he hands over his knife, and Joel, being the hardened survivor that he is, takes the guy's knife, and instead of making a deal, he uses it on him without wasting the bullets, because he's a hardened survivor and he knows that he needs to save every single last bullet till the end. So Ellie sees this, and it's like, whoa, this is really hardcore. All of a sudden, you get this really intense drama. The KC crew ends up finding the bodies, and Melanie Linsky's character is like,
Find who did this. Find every collaborator and kill them all.
by the end of the episode, we meet Sam and Henry. It's just different than the video game, because Henry's the older brother to Sam, but we quickly learn that Sam is deaf, and that's completely different than the video game. And it's just an interesting kind of character dynamic to have him be completely deaf. And when he communicates, he talks in sign, and his brother can understand him, but we quickly see that nobody else really gets him. And then he interacts with Ellie, and they become really good friends. And it's really kind of cool to see Ellie interact with another young person in this post-apocalyptic world that is so dark, and then they develop this relationship and they become fast friends. By the end of the episode, Joel sets up this trap and puts all this glass in case anybody sneaks by. They'll step on the glass and they'll alert him, but he's kind of hard of hearing in one ear, so of course Joel completely misses the fact that Sam and Henry sneak up on them, and they have them at empty gunpoint. They think the gun's loaded, but they're like, listen to us and we won't shoot you or whatever. And it's so obvious that Sam and Henry have no clue what they're doing, but since they saw Joel and Ellie in the firefight earlier, they know that Joel knows how to survive, and he knows how to kill people. So they're like, this guy can get us out of here. Okay, so they decide to sneak away with Joel, and they say, listen, it's kind of scary during the day, but we know how to go in the tunnels underneath the city. And the last guy I talked to that worked under there said there are no infected, and that's because they're hiding out, but there's none in the tunnels, so if we go down there, we'll be okay. So they make a decision that they're gonna sneak under the tunnels, and Joel and Ellie are gonna follow Sam and Henry's lead. They're the most wanted people in Kansas City at this point.
My name's Henry. It's my brother Sam. I'm the most wanted man in Kansas City. Although right now, my guess is you're running a close second.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it. Jeffrey Pierce, the voice actor who plays Tommy in the Last of Us video game.
I've been on quite the adventure, little brother.
I reckon it's got something to do with that girl.
It's got everything to do with that little girl.
Well, go on then.
She's immune.
Immune to what?
He's basically like Melanie Linsky's character's right-hand man. He's got the bulletproof vest, the Kevlar, and this big badass gun. As soon as he started talking, I was like, oh, there's Tommy from the video game, Jeffrey Pierce.
When do we tell the others?
And man, the guy has some acting chops. I was really impressed. There's a scene where he's like, we gotta go take care of this now, and he takes her into this room, and the floor is moving, and obviously there's infected underground, and she's like, no, we gotta find Sam and Henry and these other intruders first before we do anything, blah, 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 etc. And so he's like, I think we should take care of this, but you're the leader, you know, we follow you. And it's just like so unbelievable. You're gonna follow Melanie Linsky in the apocalypse? It just doesn't make sense to me. She doesn't have that leadership mentality. And anyways, so as the episode progresses, they make their way underground, underneath downtown Kansas City, to the other side of the city, to where the suburbs start. Just like in the video game, they start getting sniped at, and they have to duck. They're like, where are those shots coming from?
And he's like, whoa!
Move! Go!
Fuck is that coming from?
Shut up.
So it's Ellie, Sam, Joel, and Henry, and they're like, oh, freaking out because somebody's shooting at them. And Joel goes up to the house where the gunfire is coming from, and there's a guy sniping there, and he's got a walkie-talkie and a sniper rifle, and he's like,
Put the gun down. Slide it over to me. That's all you have to do. Please don't do it.
he gets on the radio, and Joel has no choice but to take him out. We then get one of the best action set pieces we've had in the entire show.
Anthony, hold them where they are. We're almost there.
Fuck.
Melanie Linsky and the whole crew, Jeffrey Pierce, they pull up. Henry and Sam and Ellie are hiding in the car. Joel's got the sniper rifle. And they're like, come out, Sam, come out, Henry. We know you're here. You guys need to give up. And it's so cool. Out of nowhere, you got these huge Hummers and these tanks and these big armored trucks and these guys with guns are running around. And Joel's like trying to pick some of them off. And Melanie Linsky's character is like, come out, Henry. We can do this the easy way or the hard way, blah, blah, blah. It's weird because Henry's like, okay, take me. Don't hurt Sam. And she's like, why didn't you just forfeit earlier? Why didn't you just give yourself up? And we wouldn't have had to do this huge show, but here we are. And then out of nowhere,
It ends the way it ends.
the street kind of caves in, and we get this huge bloater crawls out from underground, and you got like dozens and dozens of these infected that are coming out from underground. They're running at full blast into these people, and they're like, you know, they're trying to shoot at them and stuff, trying to KILL these infected, and there's just too many of them, and Joel's like trying to snipe them out and trying to help Ellie and Sam and everybody, and they're trying to get away, and Joel's this awesome sniper, and you got these infected chasing Ellie, and Ellie somehow gets into this car, and she's like hiding out, and this little kid infected with this like crazy messed up face crawls in through the window, and Ellie's like, oh, this is crazy. And eventually they make their way out of it finally, and of course Melanie Linsky's character meets her match. Jeffrey Pierce gets a bad guy's death, and the infected get him, and then of course Melanie Linsky gets devoured. And the makeup and the time that went into this was just amazing. And you can tell, see, one of my huge problems with The Last of Us, which I don't have a lot of problems, I think they're doing a great job at bringing the video game to life. I think HBO is doing fantastic, but something happened behind the scenes, and you can tell that this happened because there's not a lot of violence. Only when it's completely necessary is there like blood and stuff like that, but this is a gory post-apocalyptic television show on HBO. It should be violent, but instead, when we should have a close-up of this bloater smashing and ripping apart Melanie Linsky's character, you get this shot. It's like they filmed half a block away and kind of zoomed in with the camera. It's like you're gonna do this amazing makeup job and then shoot it from halfway down the block. I don't get it. And you're trying to cover up the gore when you're HBO. What are you trying to prove here? I just don't get it. Anywho, they finally get away, and then it's Joel, Ellie, Sam, and Henry, and they got out with their lives. They kind of take refuge in this house. I just love how the character, and by the way, the kid who plays Sam in real life is deaf. So this kid is an incredible little actor. He's got this like oil notepad that he can erase and write stuff really quick. It's one of the coolest ways of like putting a deaf actor into one of these shows and be able to communicate with other characters. And his brother knows sign language, but how many people know American Sign Language out there? Probably not many. So Henry's like one of the only people that can talk to him. But of course, as Ellie and Sam's relationship grow, you almost forget for a second that it's the apocalypse. And because they're getting along so well, and you wish it could last forever, but this is not that kind of a show. Not too long after this, that Sam pulls up his pant leg and reveals a bite. And Ellie's like, listen, I'm immune, and my blood has medicine in it. And she takes her knife and CUTS's herself. She's like, okay, my blood has medicine in it, and she wipes it on his bite. And he's like, I'm scared, you know. You can tell he's super scared, but he believes her, you know, and it's this sweet, innocent moment where two kids, it was a major tearjerker because you know what happens in the video game. Sam doesn't make it. I was afraid with the lack of violence, they weren't going to give us the video game ending, but they did. Henry saves Ellie because Sam lunges at her, and he's like, don't you dare, Joel. And Joel's like, let me get that gun from you, Henry. Let me get that gun from you. And he's like, no, I tried to do everything right. And then boom, he takes himself out, just like in the video game. And man, that's such a hard scene to watch. And so at the end of episode 5, Joel and Ellie are digging graves for Henry and Sam. We know how iconic their characters are in the video game, but really, I like their storyline much better in the TV show. And I think Craig Mazin, the showrunner, did a terrific job in bringing it from the sticks of the PS3 right onto the small screen. So I loved what I watched. Just another great episode of The Last of Us made for television. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about episodes 4 and 5. I know I'm doing this kind of out of order, but that's because I was sick for a while. So I'll do episode 6 next, and then episode 7, which I just ended up watching. And episode 7 is going to be so much fun to review because we get to talk about Left Behind, which is one of the best video game DLCs of all time. And they brought it to the small screen, and we'll see what Craig Mazin and his Last of Us HBO crew does, how he's able to take Left Behind and bring it to the big screen, or the little screen, however you want to call it. Did you like these episodes? Did you like the video game more? Did you have an issue with Melanie Lynskey's character in this, like I did? Run! How did you feel about Jeffrey Pierce going from being this amazing voice actor to all of a sudden just holding down the whole show, honing his acting skills? And he was so great as a character on the TV show. I think Jeffrey Pierce was just awesome. They should have made him this fearless leader, but I don't know why they didn't. They went with Melanie Lynskey, which, what can you do, right? But yeah, that's how I feel about the episode. If you have any thoughts and opinions, leave them down in the comment box. I'm really happy that you guys are still watching my videos, and as long as I'm getting multiple views, I'm going to continue to post them. So thanks again for watching. I've said my piece. Now it's time to hear yours.